and welcome to the War Room Podcast, episode 5?
Yep.
5? My name's Rob. This is Andy on this beautiful Victory Wednesday. Phenomenal weekend. How you doing, man? You good?
I mean, I'm good. I don't feel great. We beat the Dolphins, but still happy.
Oh, what a day. What a day. You know, I woke up yesterday morning was rough because I'm usually in bed by 8 o'clock. You know, dad life. So staying up for that game Monday night was rough. It was rough, but also had to keep quiet because the little guy was sleeping. I did a phenomenal job. It was a great night, but yesterday was very difficult. It was difficult.
I'm not gonna lie. I made it to halftime.
I don't blame you.
Just because it's like, it's not my team. I had somewhat invested in the Raiders because I was like, look, I want to see this. I want to see how it goes, especially for you. But yeah, I mean, it was good. I got to see my boy get in and play a little bit of guard for you guys. He didn't do too bad.
Had 69 snaps. Did very well. Very well. I was very happy. I do gotta shoot the Saints some props. One, Breeze obviously is not what he was, but that defense, man, is nasty. That defense is really good.
For who, the Raiders?
No, the Saints. That front seven is very, very good. I got to give them some props because we couldn't, like, our offensive line is phenomenal. And they had their way with us in the first half, like, completely. Granted, we have some injuries, but, like, I've said a long time, I think Cam Jordan is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. I think he is absolutely outstanding and gets no props whatsoever. But it was a good game. It was a lot of fun. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, former Buffalo Bills Zay Jones caught a touchdown and then did the hand sanitizer celebration.
Great celebration. That was great.
And then that's about all Zay Jones did because Zay Jones is terrible.
Well, I mean, at that point, it was the Darren Waller show.
Dude, he is a freak.
Yeah, it really is.
The fact that he was on Baltimore at one point is just insane.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But, hey, 2 weeks from now, it's us against you, which hopefully we make it through the Rams. We got the Rams coming up this weekend. Our Buffalo Bills are actually getting healthy, which is good. Our offense is firing on all cylinders. And, of course, I'm biased in saying that Josh Allen is playing MVP-type football.
He looks good, man.
Josh Allen's playing MVP-type football. And the thing that pisses me off most, and I told people I will go on spurts like this on occasion, is if you put Josh Allen in a Patriots uniform, people will stop complaining and say, like, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread because people are saying Cam Newton is the most amazing quarterback of all time. Last I looked, Cam Newton is 1-1. And he did the same thing against the Dolphins that we did. So I'm sick and tired of people talking about, well, the Bills played nobody. They're all pro athletes. They all made it there. Just say what it is. I mean, the Bills looked good. Stephon Diggs, where I don't put a lot of value in the wide receiver position, Stephon Diggs actually took Josh Allen to the next level, where Josh Allen now has the weapons that we need. Offensive line is a little skittish and all over the place. We need our linebackers back in the worst way possible because who was it that destroyed the Eagles this week? Higbee, the tight end for the Rams.
Higsby's another one that's underrated, man.
I think he had 475
really
touchdowns. Good. Yeah, so it was insane, and I was watching the game with an Eagles fan, so it just made it so much more enjoyable for me to watch Higbee just go off all over the Eagles.
The Eagles are bad. Your
boy may start.
What was that?
Your boy may start soon.
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Fine. He who shall be named later may start soon. I remember I texted you. I said that he was active this week. So
yeah, you sent me the Rappaport tweet, and that was then I got all hot and bothered. I was driving, so I had to actually pull over and kind of cool off a little bit.
I know you told me you were in a school zone, so you had to pull over and get out of there as quick as possible. I was like, damn right you do. Don't get in trouble. No, but it was a good NFL weekend. A lot of different games happened. A lot of different scenarios happened. I think Atlanta Falcons should basically just call it a season and just retire every single player on the team. But that's just me.
I agree. The one thing that really stood out to me, and if for anybody that's listening to this, I figured we would just kind of talk about the games today, and just kind of talk about the previous week. And Andy, if you want to talk about anything else, I'm in. But So I'm thinking about getting a T-shirt made that says hashtag. Oh, hold on. Before I do this, can you take your Homer hat off for a minute?
It's off.
Just pretend that you're not a Bills fan. Okay.
I've
I
done
want to
that
get a
multiple
shirt
times.
made. It's true. Pretend you're not a Bills fan and just accept this. I want to get a shirt made that says hashtag get Sam Darnold help. That's it. And I want to parade that. I want to get like a helicopter with the flag, in the back, or a plane with the flag in the back. I want to parade that everywhere. Sam Darnold, I feel so bad for him that it's unbelievable. Like I don't know where I don't know where he's at as far as talent goes. From what I see, he looks incredibly talented, but he has absolutely no help. He made some throws this weekend that were incredible.
The one where he was running outside his body, like he was running
that was
left
the one.
Right across the middle of the field.
That was the one. He had another one too where he broke like 3 tackles in the backfield and then threw a dime piece. Like, I feel so bad for him. The Jets are easily the worst team in the league, not counting him. It's not even close.
They have help. The shirt should say, just fire Gaze. He is by far the worst coach in the NFL right now.
I don't disagree with that.
And
I don't disagree.
His mentality is, I'm the smartest guy in the field. I'm the greatest guy in the locker room. I'm the reason our team wins. Okay, so what do? You piss off your starting running back. You don't get any wide receivers, and the wide receivers you do have keep getting injured in practice because your practices are insane. It's like you're just literally setting your quarterback up for failure. And also, you are in conversations with your general manager and your entire rebuilt offensive line, where we live in New Jersey, and if you talk to anybody in New Jersey, they'll say the Jets' offensive line is fantastic and it's rebuilt and it's great. They rebuilt it with second stringers from other teams. They were second stringers for a reason, for the most part. So it's not like you had a guy who's a starter who's like lost his job, or they drafted a rookie because they wanted to get younger and salary cap issues. They literally have backups playing their starting positions. Their left tackle, the guy that's 787 pounds from Louisville, the rookie.
Yeah, Mekhi Becton.
I mean,
he is. I'm glad you said that, because I was about to argue with you on that, because he's marvelous.
No, he's real good, and he's the fact that he can move side to side is just amazing to me. He's like the Kung Fu Panda, but I mean, it's literally like he's dead. He's gonna die, and that's where it gets funny. Where if the Jets don't win as many games and the Jets end up in last place, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, do you say Sam Darnold's your guy, or do you take Trevor Lawrence, or do you fall into a scenario where you're like the Arizona Cardinals, where, I mean, me now putting back on my Homer hat, I would die laughing if they traded away Sam Darnold and Trevor Lawrence was bad in the pros, which I don't see that happening. But it's like Arizona drafted Rosen and then drafted Kyler Murray. Arizona now is taking flight, and Arizona looks like a contender team. So,
the thing where this gets really interesting to me is people always say, well, you trade Darnold and you draft Lawrence, or people now, because again, we're in New Jersey, so we hear it all the time. People now with the Eagles are saying you trade Wentz and play Hurts. You're seeing that all over now. At least I am. I don't agree with that right now, but you see it. The question is, who is trading for this, for them? You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to say trade them away, but like another one you're going to see that with is Stafford with Detroit. Yeah. Patricia's absolutely going to get fired. Their schedule is miserable the first 4 weeks. They're starting out 0-4. They are absolutely starting out 0-4. So Patricia gets fired. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is get rid of everybody, but there's only 32 teams. And you have another loaded QB class coming up. Who's trading for these people? You know what I mean? Like, you can say Chicago, but Trubisky actually looks like potentially an NFL quarterback all of a sudden. Plus, they're paying $12 million to Nick Foles. So that's out. But, like, who else is trading for these guys?
Honestly, you're training to go to a team with a young prospect quarterback, and they're going to be the backups. It's kind of like the Andy Dalton effect. I mean, you could see someone towards the end of their career, like the Matt Stafford, going to like the Giants. And if the Giants keep going and trending the way that they are, I mean, that's the good thing about the Giants right now. Granted, the Giants are a terrible team, is a lot of their skill position players are on rookie deals. So technically they should have the money in the cap space where they could do that. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's going to be a starting quarterback carousel rotation of just who's on what team. Where it's like Stafford could be the starter at who knows, like Jacksonville, and Jacksonville could trade Minshew to somebody else, and Minshew somewhere. It's like it's literally just a carousel, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially like the Eagles, and then the Panthers as well. I mean, the Panthers just gave Teddy Bridgewater a big contract. It's not that Teddy Bridgewater is playing bad. It's just Teddy Bridgewater needs help. He's in a new coaching system, but that coach, Teddy's his quarterback because he got him. But at the same time, you can draft a quarterback, and that's your quarterback. So then where does Teddy go?
So one team I guess we could talk about here, because I'm pretty sure the money's already been paid, is Minnesota. Cousins looks horrible, but I'm pretty sure that contract is up after this year.
I think he just got an extension.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 2-year 42, and I thought that was, and it was fully guaranteed.
It was he originally got the 3-year, then he got 2 years 66.
Where did he get 42? That's weird.
He just signed a new one on March 16th. His new deal overall worth $96 million over 3.
So then that can't happen either. That's what I mean. Like, I just don't know where these guys would go.
And it's some of the younger quarterbacks in the league are actually looking well, like really good. Like one of the topics I wanted to talk about was how crazy is it that Herbert for the Chargers found out that he was starting as they were doing basically the coin flip, and the doctors stabbed Tyrod Taylor in the chest and punctured his lung.
Yeah.
So now Tyrod Taylor's career is basically done. Like he played well against the Kansas City Chiefs. So now you have those rookies that were coming up that are getting ready to start. Some teams look like they're falling into it. Then you have other rookies that haven't started yet, but it's only a matter of time. I mean, Tua is going to start sooner rather than later in Miami. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great quarterback, journeyman quarterback, great teacher, good locker room guy, but you drafted Tua, he's going to be in there. It's at some point you're going to run out of space, like you said, and that's the only way you could do it is if you have no quarterbacks on your roster that are getting paid. They're all rookie deals, and then you trade for one of those big guys just in case you don't think one of those rookies can start right away, which is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree. One college game I did want to talk about last week, Miami-Louisville. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I saw part of it. Miami quarterback's real. He's good.
Dude, I love both of them. So it was De'Ara King, who I've liked for a while. Kind of a crazy story. So this offseason, after he transferred, his father passed away, which obviously kind of hits home to me. But he just kind of went into this focus mode. And I just follow him on social media. I don't know the guy, but like he just seemed so focused, and he looks awesome, man. I'll be honest. So I actually was talking to a friend of mine before the game, and I thought that Cunningham, the Louisville quarterback, was actually a better fit at the quarterback position than King in the NFL. And now, like, King looked awesome. Like, the first 2 games, he's looked fantastic. So that's kind of changing things around a little bit. I thought Cunningham had a pretty good game too. I thought he was kind of skittish at one point, but I thought he had a pretty good game also. But that was a really fun game to watch because both those guys are electric as hell.
Yeah, I mean, now we're falling into the trap, though, unfortunately, if some of these college games are getting canceled. Did you see Notre Dame just got pulled this weekend?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's the nature of the beast this year.
Yep. What other hot takes you got from this week from week 2?
I mean, the big things that I wanted to jump on was, James Robinson, the running back
Jacksonville,
for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, when we talk about how we go deep into the drafts and we look at prospects, I'm not gonna lie, I had never watched this guy. I've never thought about watching this guy, and man, can he freaking play?
Yeah.
And Jacksonville's got talent on their team. I know everyone makes fun of them for trading away everybody. They're doing the right thing. I think it just makes me laugh more so than anything because Doug Marone's their head coach, and I can't stand him anymore.
But Jay Gruden as an offensive coordinator is fantastic. You can't take that away from the guy as an offensive coordinator. That's it. Their play calling's been cool. I love Minshew. I've always been a big Minshew guy, but like I also have to apologize because I made a comment a few episodes ago congratulating the Jaguars on having the first overall pick in the draft. And that's not going to happen at all. So,
nope.
Yeah, my bad.
And they screwed me on week 1 of my survivor pool because I picked the Colts. I picked the Colts week 1, so I was screwed. It's a double elimination, so maybe we can get a little help on this. So I picked the Colts week 1. Then I picked last week. I didn't want to lose, so I picked the 49ers. And they beat the Jets, so that was easy. But now I got rid of the 49ers. I think I'm picking the Bucs this week because that feels like a safer pick as well. But I'm not too sure where I'm going to go with it yet, just because there's way too many tough games to pick. I mean, yeah. I don't trust the Browns or the Redskins in that game. The Bengals, I think, could beat the Eagles, but then the Eagles have the talent to win. Raiders, Patriots, not touching that. I mean, Bills, Rams, no shot. Vikings got smoked, but then now they're playing the Titans. You never know there. I mean, Chargers, Panthers, I feel like I would take the Chargers, but again, rookie quarterback, maybe he's, I don't know, going to settle in and then get his head rocked. You just have no idea. And so the Bucs are playing the Broncos, and the Broncos have no quarterbacks. I mean, they just signed Blake Bortles off the streets basically as their backup. So I feel like that's
Driscoll's starting, isn't he?
Yeah, Driscoll, former Florida Gator.
Yeah.
/ La Tech because he transferred out of Florida.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind too. It's a little early this week with basically like injury statuses and stuff like that too. So it's a tough one. But because it worked so well last week, I can guarantee you the Patriots win this week. I guarantee it.
I see what you did there.
No chance of anything else happens.
Well, it is what it is. We'll see. I'll probably get knocked out of this pool like I always do early on anyway. The other
Did you see Belichick in his
he looks like
morning?
He looks like someone should ask him like blink if you need help or something. He looks like a battered housewife. Like he looks terrible.
Oh my God. Like we all have clothes like that, all right? We all own clothes like that. They're comfortable, they have holes in them, but you know what? I'm wearing them when I'm home. He wore that shirt when addressing the national media. Like props to you, man. Props. I don't have the balls to do that. My wife would shoot me if I did that.
Just he looked bad. He looked like someone lost their grandpa in the mall and he wandered into a press conference. Like it was literally that bad. And I wouldn't make again, I'm a Bills fan, I'm a homer, but he's a great coach, like unbelievable coach, Hall of Fame coach, probably one of the best coaches to ever do it.
The best coach of all time. It's not even close.
He just looked like a train wreck.
Yeah.
A train wreck. But then the opposite side of a train wreck, how about the freaking Green Bay Packers? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is pissed at all? Do you think?
Did you see him?
God. He's just lighting teams up.
Again, they had so many opportunities to make that offense even more potent than it is.
It's scary. They have one of my favorite wide receivers that was an undrafted wide receiver, Allen Lazard. I mean, I loved him coming out of Iowa State. I thought he was going to be fantastic. He was undrafted. He was at Jacksonville, and then now he's here, and he actually contributed. But just imagine if they drafted players like they should have.
Yeah.
Again, people are going to say, well, no, the reason why they're doing so well is they drafted who they did. It's like, no, you forget their first-round draft pick was a backup quarterback. So,
yeah. Lazard is cool. Lazard's an awesome story, man. Shout out, actually, Flemlo Raps does a really cool YouTube show. Basically does a bunch of 15, 20-minute long sports documentaries, and he digs deep. And he did one on Allen Lazard might have been a while ago, but I'll definitely tag him in this. Shout out to him. But it's an interesting story, really, really interesting story that he went through. He's good, man. He's he wants it, and the opportunity's there for him because they didn't address the position at all. So maybe he's the answer. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, He's something, but it's funny to look at them and look at their stats and their players right now. But right now AJ Dillon's doing what I thought AJ Dillon would do. Get about the amount of carries that he would and averaging the amount of yards that he does and basically not being able to see a gap or a hole. So
it's 2 weeks in. 2 weeks. Calm down.
Saying right now I look good.
2 weeks. Come on. Relax.
Right now I look good. But another cool wrinkle. Have you been keeping up with this whole practice squad stuff and the protected practice squad players and the call-ups?
Yes.
Dude, I love that. I feel like they should keep this rule in effect every single year.
I totally agree with you.
It's
totally
one of the coolest things on, at least for me, to see like one of these. I'm going to call them bums even though they're not. Because like first week, we called up a guy at defensive tackle because our starting defensive tackle Butler was injured. He got called up. He actually played in a game. And then all of a sudden you look back and he reverts back to the practice squad. Like That's just awesome. Didn't have to go through anything. And it's a game of cat and mouse because you can only protect someone 4 weeks. So if you protect them the first 4 weeks, come week 5, another team could just be like, whoop, there he goes. He's on our active roster now.
I think the guidelines that are in place for this are kind of setting the footprint for what I think eventually will happen. I don't know when, but
is this your minor league?
Oh, dude, I'm all in. Whenever you want to talk about that, whenever you want to do a 6-hour podcast on that, I am in. All in. Whenever you want.
Drafted a team for the minor leagues.
What?
You basically drafted our teams for minor league teams.
Pretty much. I would have had Tyree Jackson if I was being real here, but he's not even in the league anymore. So, but if I was really doing it, I would have drafted Tyree Jackson to be my quarterback. But
and your team would have lost to mine miserably, as I've seen him play up close and personal.
No, you didn't. You saw like 3 preseason games of him with garbage players.
He played at UB. I loved watching UB because UB had Anthony Johnson.
He was awesome at UB.
And then he had 2 phenomenal wide receivers at UB.
I don't care. He was phenomenal. He literally, if you can honestly say, if you can watch him and actually know about the sport of football, so don't point out the obvious, but like if you can watch him and not see Ben Roethlisberger, you don't know the sport of football.
You can see it. The problem is he doesn't have what Ben Roethlisberger, and this is going to sound crazy because Ben Roethlisberger is certifiably insane. He doesn't have what's between the ears. Like he
That's possible. And again, what we do though,
see it.
But what we do, because we're not actual scouts, we can't tell that and actually verify that. We're going based upon what we see. We're not in the meeting rooms with him. We're not watching tape with him. Like that's kind of the point of what we do. So from what I see, he has it. Dude has it. But again, clearly I'm wrong because the people that have done this with him, none of them have employed him. So clearly I'm wrong with my theory.
He was a backup on the DC Defenders. you know you've hit rock bottom when you're backing up Cardell Jones. It's like, ooh.
Oh, man. Jeez. Oh. How about Harrison Butker, too? Did you watch that at the end of the game? The Chargers game? No. So, dude kicks a 53-yard field goal, and the Chargers call timeout. Game's over. But they had a false start penalty, so they had to move it back to 58, and the timeout didn't count. So then the Chargers iced him again. He kicks a 58, hits it. So now he's at a 53 and a 58. Then he has to kick it again because the timeout went into effect. So he kicked within a series of 2 minutes, a 53, a 58, and a 58, all perfect with the game on the line. Unbelievable. It was awesome.
You got that extreme, and then you got the other extreme of, did you see the onside kick against the Falcons where everybody looked at it like it was like a touchdown celebration doing one of these, like rubbing their hands together and pretending the ball was hot? Like,
bro, that was crazy.
I listened to the commentary the next day from Keyshawn Johnson and a whole bunch of different people, and they're like, you know what, maybe the players thought like they'd watch it go out of bounds. And I'm sitting there thinking,
fast enough. They hit the sideline.
I'm sitting there thinking, don't they teach you in football, fall on the ball? Like, just fall on the ball. You don't even need to be good. Just fall on the ball. And also, they had Julio Jones as the jump man. It's like, okay, you see how the ball is set up. They didn't even put the ball in a tee. They straight up set the ball on the ground, like old school backyard football on the ground. He just kicked it. So you mean to tell me
That was a phenomenal kick, though, too.
oh, yeah,
Absolutely
but you don't put your
perfect.
hands, guys, up front? I get you got to have a jump ball guy, but where's the rest of it? And everybody else parted like the Red Sea. You just let the Cowboys jump on it.
I think that, again, it's not Dan Quinn's fault because it's a special
No,
teams
it's all
coach,
Dan
but
Quinn's fault. He's a terrible coach.
he is, but that falls on the special teams coach. But the thing is, though, clearly those guys were not ready for that. They were
No,
clearly not ready for that.
no,
That was
they were terrible.
Yeah, that was something.
They were terrible. And then I'm also not on the bandwagon yet, and I could come around to it sooner rather than later. I think the Steelers' hype on defense is real. The Steelers' defense is probably one of the best defense in the league. Still not on the Steelers' hype on offense yet, but they looked pretty good. And I mean, there was one person in particular that looked pretty good. Would you like to mention who it is? Somebody that I talked about drafting?
No, but I would say they're probably a top 5 team right now.
I mean, go ahead. Just say his name.
You can go in. You can go ahead.
Just say his name.
Oh,
Claypool.
I don't know who you're talking about. So how can I say his name?
You mean Claypool?
I have no idea who you're talking.
You
Who's
mean the great pick that I wanted, and who is now playing phenomenal. I mean, it is possibly that scheme is helping him and Juju's helping him at the same time, but
he made a fantastic catch. I think it was actually week 1 on the sideline.
dude, he's just a big, fast receiver. You got to respect it.
Yeah.
You got to respect it.
One who really pissed me off with a very basic football skill that he did not utilize. Again, the Chargers-Chiefs game. Herbert threw a perfect pass to Mike Williams in the end zone that would have sealed the game. And so Tyrann Mathieu there. Honey Badger's all over the play. He goes inside. You know he's going inside to make a play on the ball. Mike Williams decides to let the ball come to his body as opposed to actually using his gigantic arms and reaching out. He tries to let the ball go to his body. Mathieu makes the deflection. Chiefs wind up winning the game later on. If he extends his hand, the Chiefs are 1-1 right now. If he extends his hands and reaches out to catch the ball with his actual hands, the Chiefs are 1-1 right now.
Mike Williams is just so scared. He's such a soft.
I don't get it. Like, that was all he had to do. And at least he manned up about it. He said he tweeted out this game's on him. Fine. But, like, come on. Like, use your arms, dude. Like, he's a massive man. Like, that literally the game's over after that. The game is over.
He's just soft. He's so scared to get injured now because he's been so injury prone as he entered the league.
Yeah.
It's just bad. I mean, they could have a great 1-2 punch there, but they just don't. And it looks like they actually have their wide receiver. They do have their running back. I mean, their offensive line is a little bit all over the place. Top tight ends in the league. Like, they could be good. Their defensive line is the reason why that game was that game. I mean, you have Bosa, who's just a freak of nature. But yeah, I mean, that kind of
Ingram's nasty too, though.
Ingram is nasty. And speaking of nasty, how many freaking injuries are going to happen within the next couple of weeks? Again, I get it that it's a different year, but does this kind of go against what the players want? The players want less preseason games, and they just want to get into it. But now some of these big-time players that could be in contract years are getting hurt because they don't have preseason games. Granted, you could still get hurt in preseason, so I understand the argument of might as well get hurt while playing a game that counts.
Yeah.
But they're like the 49ers, man. Like,
oh God,
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Huh.
Like, they're still a good team. Don't get me wrong; they'll still compete. You lost your starting DNs/D line. Like, you lost your quarterback. Like, they're just turning into a mess.
Yep.
So, I don't know. All I know is that the next couple of weeks are definitely going to be fun. This week, like I said, Buffalo's got the Rams. Who do the Raiders got? Patriots?
Patriots.
So, yeah, we're both going to be 2-1 after this week going into our game the following.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it
And maybe
positive.
we'll watch that one together. What do you think?
If we do a live stream, yeah. I don't want you in the same room as me because if the Raiders start pulling away, I'm going to go sit in a corner and cry.
And what about the opposite, which is probably more likely?
Probably shoot you with a squirt gun while you sit in the corner and cry. If we're being honest, I'm more of a bully
Fair
than
enough.
you are.
That's fair. That's fair.
Unbelievable. But I think that's all we got for time this week. But now we appreciate everybody for listening in. More to come next week with some game recaps, probably some highlights and some players again, and some interviews in the near future. But yeah, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at _War133.
Also, definitely, if you're watching on YouTube, follow, subscribe. Any comments, questions, thoughts on the show, comment below. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a great week, and talk to you guys next week.
Until next week, guys. Take care.